All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. And I hate to keep saying this, but after all this drama with the drones, of course, by now that you've heard that they now know where they came from. And it appears as though we were right again, because the explanation that we got is exactly what we said it was going to be. They have now announced that these drones in the sky are lawful, private, and public drones, i.e., BlackRock, law enforcement, and whoever else wants to put drones up in the sky at night under Trump's 2017 drone deregulation standards. Now, I want to be clear here. I want to be very clear, because they have now successfully conditioned the public to accept the drone surveillance state. This is dated 2017. Let me read this as slow as I can. President Donald Trump launched a program on Wednesday to expand testing of drones to include flights over people, nighttime operations, and flights out of sight of the operator. 2017. Now, what blows me away is that Trump blew this whole thing off in his comments about all this. And he seems to be injecting some kind of mystery and fear into the public, saying he's not going to go outside till we know what's going on, pretending that he has nothing to do with this, failing to mention his nighttime drone deregulation, which would have been a very important part of this conversation, right? Blaming Biden, which brings us right back into the right-left paradigm. And he says he knows exactly what's happening. Well, he's not lying when he says that. But again, he was the one who approved nighttime drone operations. He deregulated the drone standards to allow for the very scenario that we are experiencing right now. Well, let's see what he had to say here. This was just from a couple days ago, or maybe yesterday.
President Trump said, I canceled my trip to Bedminster. Remember, the drones were kind of around Bedminster. So watch what he said.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey and ports? It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster.
Will you shoot them down?
They're very.
Now, if you listen carefully, he's literally telling us the truth. But the way he's saying it makes it sound like he has nothing to do with it. This is shocking. He's literally telling us they already know what it is, because he does know what it is. Let's keep listening.
They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
Well, Guy, we know he is receiving intel briefings, but he won't comment on.
So there you go, in his own words. Now, let me remind you, let me go back into the chat, make sure you guys are with me. Let me remind you that, wow, I can't even believe this, you guys. This Reuters article was mysteriously hidden from the internet. And when I say that, you can see the Reuters article, but almost no other outlet picked up the story and repeated it. Now, let me try to explain this to you guys so you can understand this. On any other story that you'll get of mainstream media, it will get picked up by other outlets, like Fox News, CNN. They repeat the stories, and everybody knows this. If you do a simple search and you type in news, you'll get headlines of the same exact story. It's through a different outlet. Except for this Reuters article. It's the only source, or one of the very few sources, mainstream sources of this article. When you type this in, even if you type in, let's see if we can get this to work here. Whoops. Sorry, guys, I'm figuring out my mouse here. If you type this in and search it, you literally will not see this article, if you're lucky, and any of the other mainstream articles. You can try this on your own and put your feedback in the comment section of what you found when you tried to type this in. But it's real. It's real news, but they don't want people making the connection. And as you just heard, Trump didn't lie to us. He told us exactly what was happening, but he detached himself from it. And all this suggests is that they want to downplay this. Now, let's go back to the article, because there's more to this, because I found something else. You're not even going to believe this. This is brand new information. No one's talking about this. So listen carefully. Remember, 2017 was right after he got reelected. He's about a year into his presidency at this point. 7 years ago. And they mention in this article a guy by the name of Kratsios. And remember, I stumbled on this guy's name, and this is how the Holy Spirit works. Makes you focus, doesn't it? Little clues, little still small voice steers you in the right direction. White House advisor Michael Kratsios was part of this program to deregulate drones, to allow them to fly at night and to fly out of sight of the operator. Basically everything government would need to monitor us, right? I mean, who wants drones flying around at night over your head? Well, Casey, I'm not doing anything wrong. Well, until you're collecting rainwater and the drone flies over your house and sees that you have rain barrels and that's illegal in your state, or the infinite other things that they could be spying on you about in your own private property. That's why it's called private property, right? So I looked up this guy, Kratsios. And again, this is brand new information. Are you ready for this? This is Michael Kratsios. And guess what? He was also connected to Peter Thiel. This was all the way back in 2017, you guys. Wow. Another Peter Thiel connection. Palantir, the crystal ball from Lord of the Rings, surveilling us. It says, prior to joining the Trump administration as deputy assistant to the president, Kratsios was a principal at the Thiel Capital and served as chief of staff to entrepreneur and venture capitalist Peter Thiel. So now you're finally seeing that this goes back all the way to the first Trump presidency. Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, they're all in this billionaire club. And they're all working on drones and surveillance and battlefield artificial intelligence. Now, this goes even deeper. We're doing a deep dive on this guy connected to the nighttime drone deregulation of 2017 and Donald Trump. So now you're seeing that this was a plan from the beginning. It wasn't just these drones aren't random, you guys. It's all connected to Trump. It's setting the stage for his presidency. They're going to say that, oh, we have to do this to go after the Democrats. We have to do this to, go after the illegals. We need nighttime surveillance. Well, I'm going to show you why we don't need nighttime surveillance. Because this guy was also connected to the AI initiative in America, all the way back in the beginning. Kratsios led administration efforts on artificial intelligence and quantum information science, the architect of the American AI Initiative, the national strategy for promoting American leadership in artificial intelligence. He also oversaw the implementation of the bipartisan National Quantum Initiative Act, including establishment of the new quantum coordinate. Now, do you see how this Kratsios guy, he spans across administrations. He wasn't just Trump's guy. He was also this guy, Biden. Because Kratsios also launched the COVID-19 High Performance Computing Consortium. This is why I try to tell you there is no right and left. When you peel back the layers underneath all of the talk and all these things, you see that the people that work for these presidents are all working together, advancing us toward this stuff. Now, here's what else is crazy. Kratsios was neck deep in the Department of Defense. Foreign defense spilling over into domestic emerging technologies. Pretty soon it's all going to be ubiquitous. You're not going to know the difference. They're going to be using the same technology they use on the battlefield here at home. The proof is that this guy was involved in domestic drones and foreign Department of Defense, right? So here we are in 2025, and they're now saying that these nighttime drones are perfectly legal thanks to Trump's deregulation. And I want to be clear about this because this falls squarely on him and his puppet, Kratsios. We need to demand our privacy now. We need to demand laws that protect us from drone surveillance. And you're going to thank me later, or you won't. You won't believe this, and you won't put any of the responsibility of reversing all this onto Trump, because you'll just be happy that he won over Kamala, who was never slated to win anyway. She was simply a chess pawn. It didn't matter if everybody voted for Kamala. They weren't going to put her in. She was put there to make you vote for this. Now, here we are in 2024, going into 2025. And it is now legal for private security firms to send up night drones and spy on anybody they want. They can deploy listening devices. They can hack your phone, because remember, this is all about proximity. They can do anything. They can look through your window. Now let's read about their admission here of the new surveillance state night drones. This is what they're saying now. White House advisor says government has solved the drone mystery. Now this is crazy. John Kirby told CNN Monday that drones reported recently over New Jersey and the East Coast do not pose a threat to the public and represent lawful, legal, commercial, and hobbyist drones, even law enforcement drones, night drones. When asked by the anchor whether drones might pose risk, Kirby was clear. The answer is no. We don't propose to see any national security or public safety risk by these drones and these aircraft that are flying. And I would remind people that there are millions of drones that fly over the skies routinely. Thousands and thousands have registered with the FAA. And a lot of them do really good work for public safety. And you see what's happening here? Do you see what's happening? We now, okay, do not get timnesia, because these are the portals that you pass through, and then they wipe everyone's brain and they just accept this as normal. One day you'll watch this video and you'll look back how the world used to be in 2024 and how it's now become. The acceptance of nighttime drones flying over our neighborhoods and homes and properties. And it all happened here. To date, no sense and no indication that there's a national security or public safety risk posed by any of these activities. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people got distracted with this particular issue. And they were talking about orbs and, oh, the drones are up there looking for orbs. Oh, they're looking for UFOs. All those videos went viral. And the whole time we were trying to tell people, no, this is about getting us to accept the surveillance state. But I guess that wasn't sensational enough of a title for people to wake up. It's more sensational to think there are orbs and drones flying. I know there are orbs, but that's not what this is about. This was about getting us to accept it, and now everybody has, because the authorities have told us there's nothing we can do about it because it's lawful. It's so frustrating sometimes trying to tell the truth when not too many people are listening. So this guy blows it off, perfectly legal. Everything's fine. And now you live in a world where drones fly over your head at night. I can't rule out the fact that we might find some sort of illegal or criminal activity. All I can do is tell you that right now we see none of that. Wow. Just blew it completely off. Now, they're even now trying to mix what's going on in Ukraine with all of this. High-tech radar used in Ukraine-Russia war to be deployed to crack the Northeast drone mystery. Now, this was a couple days ago before they came out and said they knew what they were. So this is disclosure. It's saying we can now use battlefield technology here domestically. And this is exactly what they did. And in fact, guess what? The FBI and the CIA and whoever else is operating these drones, BlackRock, private security firms, they're now saying you can get in a whole lot of trouble if you start pointing lasers at the aircraft. FBI issues warning. Don't point lasers at the aircraft because, hey, they got to protect their investments, don't they? Remember, Trump said, oh, just shoot them down. Well, that'll land you in jail, too. Another honey trap. Wow. Now, eventually what these drones will be up to is they'll be weaponized just like they are in Ukraine. And no one will know what happened to people. They'll just, oh, that was a gas explosion, is what they'll say. And they'll just go through and everyone on the list will get picked off one by one who disagrees with the control mechanism. It'll be just like China. Let's read this and see if we can, figure out what's going on with this laser pointers. A nationwide fascination with drones flamed by reports of uncrewed aerial vehicles across several eastern states has now prompted federal officials to warn the public against interfering with unrecognized aircrafts. Since November, okay, so that's getting us all caught up there. The agencies have also clarified many sightings appear to not be drones at all. So they're basically saying, you don't know what's up there. You can't just start shining lights up there. Officials have previously advised against trying to shoot down unidentified aircraft. Now, the Newark branch of the FBI is warning residents against another dangerous trend, pointing lasers at them. Wow. So we'll take care of it. We're the authorities. You can't do anything. So, welcome to Skynet. While everyone's talking about Chinese and the Iranians and UFOs and Nephilim even. I've heard all kinds of theories. Casey, we need those up there. There's Nephilim and Iranians and Chinese falling right for the right-left paradigm. We now live in a world where we're being monitored. We are the target by our own government. Now, the police state, Trump's law and order is here. Robot dogs, which he had at Mar-a-Lago. Now we have drones run by artificial intelligence, probably sentry drones, probably picking their targets right now. There is no right and left. And until people finally understand this, we're going to continue to be played, aren't we? Now, I got some documentation, and I'll put links to all this for you guys. Here is the original document, October 25th, 2017, integrating unmanned aircraft systems into the national airspace. In case you're still in the chat trying to defend Trump, American aviation is on the verge of an unmanned revolution. UAS, known as drones, have enabled UAS to rival the manned aircraft that have dominated American skies since World War II. Compact size and low cost make them suitable to support response and recovery operations. Well, where were these drones? In Asheville. Provide a new vantage point to see and experience the world. Perform critical tasks less expensive and less dangerously. And Americans are adopting this emerging technology. Over 600,000 UAS owners have registered with the FAA. But the United States' antiquated regulatory system for aviation has been too slow to keep up with the pace of technology. Burdensome restrictions on commercial drone use have limited the forecasted benefits of these systems to our society. Tens of billions of dollars in economic impact, jobs, quality of life. The result of these regulations on our nation's most innovative companies has been to force their programs overseas. Wow, where UAS testing and deployment is less restricted. In order to cultivate and sustain American ingenuity in aviation, Trump has signed today a presidential memo directing the Secretary of Peter Thiel and Palantir, Transportation, to establish a UAS integration pilot program, opening up the skies for common sense, safe commercial drone activity. America has led the world in developing and adopting emerging technologies, and Americans have recognized the need to get this incredible new industry off the ground, said Michael Kratsios, lapdog for Peter Thiel, Palantir, Department of Defense. President Trump is bringing U.S. leadership back to the United States by creating this pilot program. So on and on and on. Remember, nighttime drone flights. That's the key word here. Hopefully will help people to wake up. Here's another government website talking about the same exact thing. And here we are. So why didn't Trump mention this? Or at least say, I did deregulate, I deregulated the drones. I did deregulation. It's good. I do a horrible Trump impersonation, but you know what I'm saying. Now, here are the places where this pilot program happened in the beginning. Choctaw Nation, Oklahoma. And if you're in the chat and you're in any of these areas and you're seeing drones in the skies, then there's probably a connection. Here's Herndon, Virginia, Topeka, Kansas, Memphis, Tennessee, Raleigh, North Carolina, Bismarck, North Dakota, Reno, Nevada, San Diego, California, and Fairbanks, Alaska. This is where the program started. Wow. Now, let me check in with you guys. I got a couple more important stories for you today. Good morning. So what are your guys' thoughts on this? Does this make any sense to you? Am I barking up the wrong tree? Do you think Trump's telling the truth? Well, he did tell us the truth, didn't he? Musk's brother owns a drone company. Thanks, Gary. Welcome, everyone. It's madness. Heard of Virginia is right where Dulles Airport is, says Turtle Toy Box. All right, so let's get into a couple more of these stories, and I'll pop back in with you guys. Now, of course, they parade out shape of Joe Biden. Biden slaps down Trump and explains the mystery drones. President Joe Biden on Tuesday made his first public comments about the recent reports of the unexplained drone sightings in the Northeast. Asked by reporters what was behind the drones, Biden answered, "Nothing nefarious, apparently, but they're checking it all out." He added that authorities are following this closely. So far, there's no sense of danger. Again, he's telling the truth too. They're both essentially kind of saying the same thing, aren't they? But they had to parade him out for the other side of the paradigm. Because remember, it's battle of the billionaires. They pretend to fight. Now here, let's hop off and get to see some of these other stories. Have you guys heard about this? We now live in a reality where squirrels eat rodents. I'm not making this up. A couple of you sent this to me. California, squirrels are eating another rodent for the first time. Now there's pictures of this, you guys. And if it turns your stomach to see a squirrel eating another rodent, well, then you might want to click off for a minute or just listen instead of watch. But now all of a sudden they're saying, oh, squirrels have always, eaten some protein in other animals. But now they're eating boll weevils. Unexpected squirrel behavior. Something is changing the wildlife. In your entire life, have you ever seen anything like this? I haven't. And they're trying to say that these squirrels are adapting to the environmental changes. This is in California. Shocking. What do you guys think about squirrels eating animals? Does that seem normal to you? Not to me. Deer will even eat small birds and rodents. I never heard of that before. Wow. They are rats with tails. It's like cannibalism, isn't it? Because they're essentially the same animal. Now, what else is going on, you guys? Ready for this? We've all talked about the 13 bloodlines, haven't we? Maybe someone would like to do a deep dive on this. Maybe Tara's really good at deep dives. What I'm going to show you next is a little bit troubling. Trump has become the first billionaire president. He has tapped 13 billionaires for his administration. And this can't possibly be good for the American people because billionaires get rich by ripping off little people. 13 billionaires. And the question is, for the person who wants to do the deep dive, is look at each of these billionaires and see if they come from a bloodline. This could be the 13 bloodlines, right? Let's take a look here. Trump has assembled the wealthiest presidential administration in modern history, with at least 13 billionaires set to take on government posts. They include a wrestling magnate, a private space pioneer, a New York real estate developer, the heir to a small appliance empire, and the wealthiest man on the planet, with several being donors and close personal friends of the incoming president. In total, the combined net worth of the wealthiest members of his administration could surpass $460 billion. which exceeds the GDP of mid-sized countries. Huh. Wow. So this is the world we live in now, you guys. Now, we got this new nuclear fusion technology. And they are now saying that they have a grid-scale nuclear fusion power plant announced in the United States. Now, we saw this in the Illuminati playing cards, didn't we? There's one of them that says nuclear fusion. And the lady on the playing card looks like the lady who announced nuclear fusion. Problem is the Illuminati playing cards came out in the 1990s. So how did they know? Well, because they know the plan going back decades. Virginia will be the site of the world's first grid-scale nuclear fusion power plant, able to harness its futuristic clean power and generate electricity from it by the early 2030s. So welcome to the Electric Kingdom. One of the largest and most hyped nuclear fusion companies will make a multi-billion-dollar investment into building the facility near Richmond. When operational, the plant will be able to plug into the grid and produce 400 megawatts. This will be the first time fusion power will be made available in the world at grid scale. Now, this is why I do not believe electric vehicles are going anywhere anytime soon, because Trump will simply beef up the electrical grid, which of course we need, but what we don't need is electric vehicle technology. This is what's happening with electric vehicle technology and electric battery technology. Batteries, lithium batteries, are now catching fire on airplanes twice a week. You're literally flying in a bomb. And this is happening at an alarming rate. Last July, panic erupted on American Airlines from San Francisco to Miami after a laptop battery in a carry-on bag ignited. It was absolute chaos. It truly felt like every man for themselves, and it was terrifying, says this guy. I don't know if we're going to explode. Unbelievable. And this has gone up in prevalence. I thought there was a graph here. Let's see here. Apparently not. But this is what's going on, you guys. Now, this is all about fire and ice, right? So if there's fires going off in airplanes, what's the opposite of that? Well, water. Passengers panic as American Airlines flight floods in midair. Look at this. I think there's a video here on this one. Can you imagine? Fire and ice. Wow. Freaked out flyers feared they're drowned at 30,000 feet. Cruising the friendly skies was just as wet as sailing the high seas. From Dallas, Texas to Minneapolis, Minnesota on December 7th, as the water began flooding the cabin midair. Now, of course, this was a ritual because December 7th was Conception Day. It was the Pearl in the Harbor, which is all about the birthing ritual. So essentially, the water broke on American Airlines. Look at these pictures, you guys. Which means that ritually a portal has opened going into the Trump presidency. Fire and ice. Wow. Now, they said the water came from a broken pipe inside the plane. That's a lot of water for a plane to be carrying. All right, you guys. Strange times, right? All right, I'm back in the chat. Good morning. Now, tomorrow, and this might already be news that you guys have already heard, but apparently the portals that the doors that the Pope is going to open at the Vatican starting on Christmas form a pattern. When drawn out on a map in order, they form the sigil of Satan. So we'll be looking at that. Now, I did not find that information. Somebody sent that to me, and there may have been other channels that have covered it, but I'm going to give you the Enter the Stars treatment of it. The sigil of Satan. It's almost exact, you guys. So that's what we'll cover tomorrow. What's up? Richie from Boston found it. Thanks, Lipstick in Life with Michelle. Thank you for calling that out so we could give the credit where the credit is due. All right. A woman sent it to Richie from Boston. Thank you. Broken pipes don't happen on airplanes, says Mr. Obvious. Yeah, you'd think that would be obvious, right? Wow. Steve Fletcher and a couple other watchmen have been all over it. Thanks, James. So our discussion will probably focus more on what the portals mean. So, all right. Thanks everybody for showing up. I guess I'm going to pop off of here. Please share this video. No one will know about the nighttime drone connection unless you share this video. So I appreciate all of your guys' work, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Much love, everybody.